It is Spooktober, and here comes the cat. Say hello. Say hello, Sachi. Well, she wants her 15 minutes of fame. What can I say? Well, hello, my spooky friends. Yeah, I can't even see the keyboard right now because of Sachi. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Okay, and as you see, maybe you can't see, Miss Scarlett O'Hara is here. You can see just her arm coming up this way. She's trying to stay close to Skully, but she didn't want to be on camera tonight. She's having a bad hair day. She really is. But I didn't want to be rude. So, anyway, I agreed they could just sit back there and chill and listen to the stories. Now, I have a whole lot tonight. It's spooky season. I've got some premonitions, some true stories, um, ghost stories, a few nurse stories. I don't even know. It's all in one pot, and we're just gonna pull out stuff and see what's happening. Okay, so are you ready? Turn down the lights, grab your favorite beverage, and let's get spooky. Now, our first story tonight comes from Sarah N. My friend and I took a group of 5 tweens to a state park cottage. It's hard to be too scared with that many people, but here's what happened. We start to go in, and I get a funny feeling about the place, and I'm not heebie jeebie or anything. My friend had brought some of her own baking sheets because she said the ones in these cottages are always cheap and hard to use. But they had some good ones, so she stored hers on top of the refrigerator, nice and square. About 2 hours later, we were in the living room and they came crashing down. We didn't think anything of it, and she put them up there again and made sure they were solid. The next day, I was in the kitchen and nowhere near where our glass was, and it came crashing behind me to the floor. I looked up at the cookie sheets on the refrigerator and thought to myself, "You're going to come down next." Nothing happened, so I turned to the utility cabinet beside me to get out a broom, and bam! The cookie sheets came crashing down. I hollered for my friend, but she doesn't like anything supernatural, so I didn't say anything. But one of the kids watched me as I clean up, and then I sat down at the kitchen table to see if anything else was going to happen. He said he lived in a haunted house once and he knew what I was doing. That's not much of a story, but when you have 3 things come crashing down for no reason, you tell me what went on. Well, I want to tell you something. I believe you, and I have had that same thing. I think I've told this story before, so if y'all have heard it, I'm sorry. But I was in the church kitchen, and it was an industrial kitchen, and we had a big, heavy duty rack with heavy things on it, and nothing was on the edge. But all of a sudden, a coffee cup came off the very top rack. It was me and one other woman in there, and it went flying across the room and hit the cement floor and broke. But the weird thing is there was no reason for it to fall, and if it had fallen just on its own accord, it would have fallen straight down to the ground, not went across the room, just nearly missing her. It was very bizarre. She gave me the side eye, as if I had done something. Look, y'all, I can't do that. I don't do tricks, okay? Let's look at the next one. Okay, this next story comes from Mama T. Hello, Silky and Scully. Hey, Scully. Somebody said hello to you. Mama T. I don't think he's paying attention. Anyway, I hope this note finds you well. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Scullett. They didn't know you were going to be here. She really is a temperamental thing. The James is a massive hospital where many people are treated for cancer. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer and successfully beat its rear end. However, it wasn't an easy battle. She had to be admitted into the James on 3 occasions. All 3 were from side effects of the treatment to save her life. One night, she was in her room and wide awake as the second to third shift change was taking place. So that would probably be around 11 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock, depending on how they do that. After everything settled down, two nurses came into her room and began doing the routine of taking her vitals and letting her know who would be her nurse for the night. Mom said the halls were quiet. There wasn't many people on the floor that night. The nurses were standing on each side of her bed, one charting as the other took the vitals. That's when Mom said she heard a small child cry out like it was in pain. Suddenly, the nurses looked at each other with what Mom thought was a uh-oh look, and both dashed out of the room, closing the door as they left. Mom questioned the nurse that night, but the question was ignored. And when she asked the day nurse the next day, she said she had no idea what that was about and that there were no children on the floor. To this day, Mom swears they are hiding something there. While I doubt anything nefarious is going on, I do believe that as a cancer hospital connected to a university hospital, there could be some boogers about. I like that. That's what we call them here in the South, too, boogers. Our family is grateful for the doctors and nurses that worked so hard to give Mom the best care she could have. She has been in remission for 11 years now. I just wish she had the answer to what happened that night on the top floor of the James. Yeah, my first question was, did that hospital ever did they currently treat or did they ever treat children? Was there some kind of, someone who passed away as a child and maybe it was an echo or, something, or maybe there's just a little baby booger out there. I don't know. It's strange though that the nurses well, I say it's strange, but honestly, that's kind of what we do. We never let the patient get scared because we're going to leave the room and you're going to be there by yourself, right? So we don't act like there's any hauntings or anything. We never tell that to the patients. Um, but it's funny because that is exactly, they gave each other the uh-oh look. Yeah. It's probably happened before and they probably have an idea who that was. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, I love the name of this next one. Chutzpah. Chutzpah, is that am I saying that right? And Pepsi Cola. I had a friend who told me how to say that word, but I might still get it wrong. I forgot to post this comment months ago, but my sister and my mom used to hear heavy metal screamo music in the house we moved into. Oh my. The story about hearing the radio made me think of it. My dad never heard it, but we did. It did that for years, and only at night when we went to bed. It was before Bluetooth and other things that could make a TV, radio, or computer turn on by themselves, seemingly. So it was never any of our devices. To this day, we don't know what it was. We still own the house and we don't hear it anymore. I wondered at one point if I had tinnitus, but since I wasn't alone in hearing it, probably not. That just makes me wonder, are there like transient ghosts? Like, do some of them just come, play the radio, and screamo music? Okay. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. Um, I'm not saying, I'm not a big fan, but I will say there are some, believe it or not, some screamo songs I really do like. But for the most part, I would not want to hear that in my house. And so you have to wonder, was somebody lost? Did somebody pass away and they were traveling to another place with their big boom box or whatever? I don't know. I don't know. But that certainly is odd. Have y'all ever had a situation like that? Let me know. Okay, I'm going to give you a trigger warning for this next story, okay? But it is not political, so don't worry. Got a lot of comments about that. But this just could be triggering if you are depressed or something like that. So you might want to skip on to the next story. But this is a good one, and I think it has an important message. In 1998, I had a disturbing feeling that nagged me that my best friend slash coworker would take her own life. I didn't believe it, as she used to view the opinion that it was the act of a coward. Personally, that is not my opinion. The feeling nagged at me for so long that I actually told her that I had a disturbing feeling that someone was going to take their own life. I even asked her if she had felt like doing it. She responded by laughing and saying, "No, not lately." From there, the nagging subsided. Life went on, and I quit my job, and she quit as well. I became very sick with gallstones, and she was enjoying traveling back and forth to their summer trailer in a park up north. By the time November came, it had been an exceptionally rainy fall. On November 19th, I received the phone call that she had taken her own life. It had been 6 months since I had that nagging feeling. Now, while I know that is a trigger for some people, I felt like it was important to say this because we are coming, y'all know, we're coming into the season of what they call seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. That's the acronym for it. And it's basically where people don't get enough sunlight and it's depressing. And then you have the holidays. And if your situation is not what you want it to be, then you can take it actually way worse. That's why I felt like it was important to share this story because she had this nagging feeling months ahead that this was going to happen. Like someone she knew, especially her friend, she had that feeling. And I think when it comes to our friends and family, sometimes we have a sixth sense. And remember, we talk about that gut feeling, like really, really through the next, 5, 6 months, especially check on your loved ones. And if you have that feeling, just don't let up on it. It would be better to aggravate somebody a little bit and keep asking, "How you feeling? How you feeling? Are you okay? Are you depressed?" Like, look, you would rather ask than not. I mean, I'm not saying there's any judgment here, and there's probably nothing that you could have done. I don't know what the situation was, but y'all, just let's keep people in mind this time of year as we go into the deep fall and winter season. All right. This shows us how connected we are. It's the premonition. Always trust your gut. Okay, and speaking of premonitions, Peg 1659 says, "I've had several premonitions and dreams that came true. I have what I call a knowing. I can't figure out if people who have NDEs receive this knowing or if having the knowing enables a person to have a near death experience. I was 7 when I had mine and grew up with this knowing and thought it was normal. One premonition I had was when I was visiting my grandmother. I was asleep and dreaming that my mom was in my bedroom when I was visiting my grandmother. I was asleep and dreaming that my mom was in my bedroom back at home and that she was taking a wicker love seat that I had in my room and was taking it out of there. I had a hold of one end, pulling it back in my room, and she had the other end pulling it out the door. I was very upset because I loved that love seat, and I was sweating in my dream and saying, "No, no, no." Anyway, when I got back home, she had taken the love seat out of my room and put it downstairs. It almost sounds like a out of body experience, right? Like you're fighting and tugging on this thing. But that's, yeah, these kind of premonitions, how do we know what we know? And when she says she has the knowing, I guess, remember the movie The Shining? That's what was his name? I can't remember. But remember, he had the shine and he could see what was going to happen or feel what was going on around him. Very interesting. I hope you got your love seat back at some point, though. Okay, this one is by Justine I don't know. I'm just going to call you Justine. I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that exactly. But she says, "I had a premonition. I had commented one on one of your videos about it once. I was just coming back from a doctor's appointment I had. Both my friend and I were pregnant at the same time, and as we were going to cross the busy street, I saw it before it happened, but there was a car crash that happened right in front of us. I put my arms out to stop my friend from crossing. I like to also believe it was my mom telling me not to cross the street." Wow. I mean, you literally saved both of you, right? Sometimes you see how important these premonitions are. Like, I think sometimes we just, say whatever. It's just a, weird thought. But look, sometimes you need to stop and just listen. Listen to your gut. In this case, it changed everything, right? Okay. I am so late getting this out that I have got to cut it off right here so I can literally get it up for tomorrow. On my other channel that I do true crime, I'm covering the Delphi case. And y'all, just bear with me. This next month is going to be crazy trying to get stuff out on both channels. So cut me a little slack. Um, Look, some of y'all still want to see me dress up for Halloween, so I'll probably shoot a few videos between now and then in costume. All right, I hope you have a great night, a great rest of the weekend. Whatever you do, listen to your gut and stay spooky. Bye bye.